Have you been losing too many games and you're blaming anyone but yourself? Is this why you're here? To see if, say, it's not you, but instead it is the car that you're using? Do not worry, as you're completely right. It is not your fault. It's always your damn cunt of a teammate. It is never you. But in all seriousness, let's discuss the differences between the Octane and the Fennec. We will cover the hitboxes and how each hitbox fits onto them, as well as which car is used most and why it is used most. So maybe using the Fennec can help improve your gameplay. Now, when getting into it and doing my research, their hitboxes are very similar. They share the same hitbox, so it's not similar, it's literally the same. You see, there are only 6 hitboxes in Rocket League. They are the Octane, Dominus, Plank, Breakout, Hybrid, and the Merc hitbox. The Fennec falls under the Octane hitbox, and if you're smart enough to guess it, the Octane falls under the Merc hitbox. In all seriousness, they share the same hitbox. This particular hitbox does have some measurements. When doing my research, I could only find numbers without a unit of measurement. What is this? 118 potatoes, kilometers, millimeters, centimeters? I finally found Unreal units, and for Rocket League, an Unreal unit is 2 centimeters. So the length is 118 Unreal units in length, 84.2 Unreal units in width, the back height is 56.27, and the front height is 55.13 Unreal units. So with this representation of a hitbox, what car does it fit the best, as we only have what we see visually in the game to how it will feel when using the car. Now let's compare each car side by side between the Octane and Fennec with their hitboxes around them. Now, just by looking at this, it's fairly obvious to say that the Fennec has sharper edges, making it easier for the player, you guys, to visually see its hitbox. Some people find this more comforting and easier to get power and placement when hitting the ball. More and more players, for this reason, has transitioned into using the Fennec. Now, one thing I noticed when comparing them side by side is that the Fennec does occupy empty space in the hitbox better than it does the Octane. So this can visually help with 50-50s, hitting the ball like I mentioned, on where you want to place it and hit it to, as well as knowing exactly where to hit the ball to get the best amount of power. Now there's nothing wrong with the Octane, there's a reason why it's one of the most used cars in the game, as its hitbox is very balanced. So the only thing I might have to get to the Fennec that the Octane doesn't have is just the empty space in the top left side of the hitbox. I think it much more suits the Fennec shape. Not only that, the Fennec visually looks better as well. The Fennec looks like an amazing FPI badass car, while the Octane looks like a kid's toy, ISD, whatever toy car it is. But then again, who cares? It's a game that you hit a ball with a car and the car's controlled by little egg people. So does it really matter how they look? So after talking about the differences between them in the terms of how they look visually and how they fit into the hitbox, what do pros use? When I was checking the game between Rule 1 and Complexity, I was stunned to see that not one person was using the Octane. They were all using the Fennec. And I thought, okay, these are two obviously very respectable teams, but what is the best player using? Zen. And after looking, he also uses the Fennec. Even the guy who beat Zen in a 1v1, it was using the Fennec. So if the pros are using the Fennec and the best players are using the Fennec, isn't that a good representation of what car we should be trying to adjust to, as they're pros? They know what works, they know the best cars in the game, and they will look at every little adjustment to ensure they win their game. So if you want to take the game seriously, I would go by what the best players are doing. If you're just having fun and want to keep with what you're comfortable with, there's nothing wrong with the Octane. The Octane is an amazing car. It's been around since the game started. I use the Octane the most as well, and I'm probably not going to switch to the Fennec, even though that my opinion has shifted to the Fennec being the better car to use. This might change in the future, we just don't know. I just know that I'm always going to be an Octane player. Now, after all of this, let me know your opinion if you feel like a different car is better. And if you dare say Dominus in the comments, you're blocked.